Okay, this is the Unit 5 test review. And the first part says, use the following vocab words to answer questions 1 through 4. What is BK in each triangle? So let me just review each 4 of these things real quick. A median, it comes from a vertex, and it splits a side in half. Okay, it's the middle. An altitude comes from a vertex, and it makes a 90-degree angle. A perpendicular bisector does 2 things. It makes the line perpendicular, and it also bisects, cuts the side in half. And then you can have an angle bisector, which cuts an angle in half. So number 1, if we look at BK, okay, you can see that that line it's showing you is perpendicular. Okay, so it comes from a vertex and is perpendicular. That means it is an altitude. Number 2, you can see this comes from a vertex, and these little lines tell me that it cuts that side in half, so we call that a median. So that's A. Number 3, you can see that it's perpendicular, and it's also cutting that side in half, which means it is a perpendicular bisector. And then number 4, you can see these little humps are showing you those 2 pieces are equal. That means that angle is being bisected. So that's an angle bisector. Number 5, what information is sufficient to allow you to conclude that Y is the bisector of measure E? Okay, so again, what does bisector mean? That means it cuts it in half. Okay, so if I look at these answer choices, measure of angle 1, which is actually pointing here, is 90, and angle 2 is 90. Okay, they're both equal, so that makes sense. B says measure of angle 2 is 90, measure of angle 1 is 90 for C. So bisector means cut in half, so they would both have to be equal, which means my answer is A. Number 6, use the given information to classify the triangle by its angles. Okay, this means it could be acute, it could be obtuse, it could be right, or it could be equiangular. Okay, that means where all the angles are the same. So if we look over here, I know if this angle here is 47, I know the angle vertical from that is also 47. Now you can see that we know 2 angles in this triangle. I know 68 and 47, so now I can find this other missing piece. So 47 plus 68, those add up to be 115. Now I'm going to do 180 minus 115, and that missing angle is 65. So here's what we have now. We have this triangle that has an angle of 65, 68, and 47. Okay, so it's not a right triangle. It's not equiangular. Obtuse means there has to be one bigger than 90, so it's not that. So this triangle is acute because all angles are less than 90. Number 7, BD is an angle bisector. So what you have to know from that is that these 2 angles are going to be equal. Okay, so if those are equal, that means I'm going to set them equal. So I have 2x plus 5 equals 21. And then I'm going to solve for x here. So minus 5. So 2x equals 16. And then I'm going to divide by 2. And so x will be 8. Number 8, in triangle DEF, DE is 15, EF is 17, and DF is 33, and it wants the largest angle. So your largest angle is going to be opposite your largest side. Our largest side is 33. The angle opposite from that is E. Number 9, solve for x. Okay, so it says hint, a triangle is 180 degrees. So I'm going to add all of these up. So I have 3x plus x plus x. So 3 plus 1 plus 1 is 5x. Plus 5 equals 180. Subtract the 5. So 5x equals 175. And when you divide by 5, you get 35. So x is 35. Number 10, use the value of x that you found to find the measure of each angle. So x is 35, So I'm going to plug that in for all of these x's. So d is just x, so that's just 35. 3 times 35 would be 105. And then if you look at f, that's 35 plus 5, which would be 40. A good way to check yourself is now add these up, make sure they equal 180. Number 11, list the sides of the triangle in order from smallest to largest in terms of side lengths. Remember to include all sides. Okay, so right now we have 3 angles. So I have the 90 degrees, 60 degrees, 30 degrees. So the smallest side is going to be across your smallest angle. So that's going to be AB. The next smallest angle is the 60, and the side across from that is AC. And the biggest angle is 90. The side across from that is BC. Number 12, which inequality best describes the possible lengths of the third side of a triangle with two sides of 6 and 14? So remember, we are going to subtract these two numbers. So 14 minus 6 is 8. And we are going to add those two numbers, just 20. So we're going to have everything from 8 to 20 are possible lengths. Number 13, LJ is the median of triangle KLM. Okay, you do not see a triangle, so make sure that you draw it. So I have KLM, and they're telling me that I have median LJ. So I'm going to come from L, I'm going to go to the opposite side, and that's going to be J. And if it's a median, that means those two pieces are equal. Okay, and they are telling me that KJ is 3. They want me to find JM. Okay, so if KJ is 3, then JM must also be 3. That's what median means. It means they're going to be equal. In the figure below, n is a whole number. What is the smallest possible value of n? So this is making sure that you remember that the two smaller sides have to add up to be bigger than the third. Okay, well, if I plug in, I'm going to start with the smallest number because it's wanting what is the smallest possible value. Let's say I made 8, both of these. Well, 8 plus 8, is that greater than 18? No, it's not. So 8 could not be our answer. So let's try 9. So 9 and 9. Is 9 plus 9 greater than 18? No, 9 plus 9 is 18. But it's not greater than, so it must be 10, but let's make sure. So 10 and 10. Is 10 plus 10 greater than 18? Yes, it is. The answer is A. Number 15, triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle with AB equaling BC. So I'm going to put that on there to make sure I know they're equal. And then median BD. So this line down the middle is a median, which means it's cutting this side in half, and it says the perimeter of ABC is 54. What is AB? Okay, so let's see what we know. They give us this little piece is 12, so I also know that this little piece is 12. Okay, so those are equal. Now what I also know is that these two pieces are equal. So I'm going to subtract out what we already know. So 54 minus 12 and 12, so minus 24. That means that these two sides here have to add up to be 30. And remember, those two sides are equal. So that means each one of those is 15. Okay, here we start review. So 16, a line has the equation y equals 4x minus 2. What would the slope of another line have to be in order to be parallel? So you have to remember that parallel means the same slope. The slope of this line is 4, so the slope of your parallel line is also 4. Be careful that you don't pick C here, okay, because it has an X on it. The slope is just 4. 17, in the diagram, given parallel lines, find the value of X. So these two lines are parallel, cut by this transversal. That means these two angles are equal, because they are called alternate interiors. So I'm going to set them equal. And then I'm just going to solve. So I'm going to add the 2. So I have 3x equals 45. Divide by 3. Number 18, express FG given F is 3, 4, and G is negative 3, negative 4. Remember to use the distance formula. So distance formula is on your formula chart. Okay, we are going to subtract our x's. So I'm going to do negative 3 minus 3 and square it. Plus, I'm going to subtract my y's. Negative 4 minus 4 and square it. And then I'm going to simplify this. So negative 3 minus 3, that's negative 6. Negative 6 squared is 36. Plus negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 squared is 64. If you add 36 and 64, you get 100. Don't forget this is still under the square root. And the square root of 100 is 10. Number 19, find the value of x. Okay, so here you have to always look for what they're giving you. And they're showing you these two pieces are equal. So remember that the angles opposite from them are also going to be equal. So if this angle is 2x, this other base angle is also 2x. And now I can add those all together and set them equal to 180. So I have 2x plus 2x plus 3x. That's 7x plus 12 equals 180. Subtract the 12. So I have 7x equals 168. And then I'm going to divide by 7, and I get 24. And that is it.